there's been a lot of change in the game over the last few years, pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, post-pandemic now. So the real aim of the Game Congress is to bring together a whole host of individuals that are active across the game and help us have a real look at where the game needs to go over the next 5 to 10 years.
This is an incredibly exciting time for change, I think. Change can be scary, but it can also be very freeing. We're at a time where we're allowing ourselves to say, we've always done it this way, but why do we do it that way? Is that the right way to do it, or should we be trying something different?
We spend a lot of time in the field and talking to clubs and talking to players. And it's really important that when we make a decision, that the game feels they've got skin in that as well. They've been part of the process, they've inputted their views, and it's really been a joint decision.
I think it's been really positive. It's felt like we're all sort of pulling in the same direction, which I was worried it might not have been, but I come away really quite energised about where the game's going and what we can do. Where we're going is a lot more collaboration across coaching, refereeing, volunteering and playing, which is fantastic. And if we're all pulling in the same direction towards more people with rugby balls in their hands, I think that the game's in a great place.
We've been focusing really on the game itself, so what does it look like on the field of play and some of the challenges facing the traditional 15-a-side contact game, but also celebrating some of the achievements and positives that are happening there, the growth of the women's game and some of the stuff that's happening in the age grade game, exploring the non-contact game and big appetite for people wanting to play rugby but not necessarily wanting to engage in full contact, and just how we can position that to help the game and support the game and make our clubs thrive.
Yeah, we're fiercely protective of our 15-player format, whether it's male or female, and we want to maintain that and we want to grow that. But at the same time, there are other formats of the game that maybe will bring other people into the game. And I think we've got to try and get people away from, well, it's either that or it's that. And actually, the word "and" is quite powerful. So let's have the 15-a-side game and other formats.
The joyous aspect of different offers of rugby, so the no touch union, walking rugby, making sure that people enjoy participating at all levels.
Young people are already telling us what they want. You know, 1 million people are already saying they want to participate in non-contact rugby, so we need to listen to what they're saying. And the non-contact game offers such an inclusive, different mode to the game, a different format. It enables people from different cultures and religions, things like clothing that we don't usually think about, that people can actually participate and not have to worry about things like that.
We've got to get young people coming in. One of the key things we always talk about is our game has to be relevant, and society's changing all the time. People have got more things to do with their spare time, they're very precious about how they spend that spare time. We need to be more flexible, we need to think about games on Friday nights, Saturdays, the women's game playing on a Saturday, not necessarily a Sunday. And to do that, we have to do that to be more relevant to today's needs.
If we want to engage with new communities, if we want to engage with young people, we go to where they are. We don't try and get them to come to us. So we try and understand the audiences that we're after, the people we're trying to engage with, where are they spending their time? If they're on Twitch, we'll go to Twitch and find them there. If they're somewhere else, we'll find them there. We don't sit there and say, well, we're going to build this beautiful thing and make them come to us.
And the second big look really has been our club infrastructure. The vast majority of rugby is played in community clubs, and how they develop and really build on their reputation in the community over the next 5 to 10 years.
Hopefully around sort of shared services, a bit more around collaboration potentially between clubs, and more cooperation hopefully leading forward, which will lead to more thriving clubs and a thriving rugby community.
I think we need to really start at some basics about what will our clubs look like in the future, what will our club members look like in the future, and what will they demand of us.
They're probably offering a wider offer than just rugby, so other sports and other activities, and clubs offering different formats of rugby for the whole community.
It also is about having the volunteers to organise those activities. You know, clubs are already finding that their members are overloaded, so we need to think creatively.
I think the game in 10 years' time will be less focused around the male 15 game. I think we'll play lots more non-contact touch forms of the game. I mean, the women's game's done really great, and I think a lot of that is based around clusters.
The reason that the women's game is thriving is because clubs that didn't have enough of a certain player, i.e. girls at under 15s,
said, well, you've got some and we've got some and you've got some, why don't we come together and play them who have some and them, just to get players on a pitch.
I think we fundamentally got a good product and we have to sort of celebrate that, and I think that good product goes beyond the actual game. It's about the values it installs. I think it's about the heart of rugby clubs in their local community.
Rugby isn't just a game. Rugby it's a way of life, it's a philosophy. When we talk about teamwork, respect, enjoyment, discipline, sportsmanship, those are values that not just we need, Britain needs them. Everything we're going through at the moment, the whole of the country needs those values, and those are our values. And we need to go out there really confidently and deliver it.
Rugby clubs are at the heart of the community. They can offer you things other than just simply playing rugby. It's a place to build friendships, learn new things. I think that's the thing, just being more engaged, more accessible and more open.
People matter. We're a people-driven sport, and bringing people together to engage in the discussion and to help make the decisions, but also remembering the hundreds and thousands of people that are engaged in our community clubs across the country. So the next 2 months now really will see us take a lot of these ideas out more widely into the game, and actually utilising the expertise and the input of some of the people that were here to socialise that more widely with clubs and players and volunteers and coaches and referees across the game, but also taking it outside of the game to see whether what we're coming up with will actually appeal to people who aren't currently engaged in the game, and hopefully bring them in the future. And then the early part of 2023 you'll see us coming up with the sort of tactics, if you like, the programmes, the interventions that we need to deliver to bring all of this alive.
So it's our job now to play heads-up rugby, it's our job to seize the opportunities, and it's our job to go out there and change the world. Thank you very much.